Hi, I'm Stefan, the BMW DIY guy, and I want to show you how you can easily improve the sound system in your car. Alright y'all, let's talk about this project and why I highly recommend doing this in your car. So first of all, this is going to be the first part of a three-part series of good, better, and best on how to upgrade the sound dampening and even cut some vibration in your car. Now, I'm going to be working with Soundskins products. I highly recommend them. Everything they used in this today is going to be listed in the description below, so make sure to check that out. They even sent a shirt along too, so I figured I'd rock it for the video. Now, when you think about your speakers, now whether you've got a good OEM set or you have an upgrade set like I do in my BMW M2C back here behind me, when you think about your speaker goes into your door, and then you've got your door card where your door pull and the pockets are on the inside. No matter how tight you get, you've got some air gap between the speaker and your door card. That means sound is going forward, but it's also going out sideways. In addition, when you look at that speaker design, about half of your speaker sound is coming out the front, and about half is going out the back into that open space in your door against the metal skin of your door, and is called backwave. And that is a tremendous amount of lost sound. And in addition, depending on your car, it can create vibration and other issues. So the more of that sound you can get coming forward out of your speakers, the better. And that's where the Sound Rings kit from Soundskins Global is going to come in. They have these fantastic rings. Now, all of these it's high density foam, so it's going to compress really well and fill that air gap when we put it around the speakers up against the door card. And you're just going to take it and shape it. We'll cut off a bit, put it in a nice ring around the speaker, and we'll do it on all the speakers around the car. In addition, the kit also includes these panels. So we're going to pull out the speaker and put this on the inside of the door with this foam facing the speaker to cut down on that back wave as well. So the whole goal is to take the quality of your sound system and make sure as much sound as possible is coming forward, not getting lost in the door or getting lost in the door card. While we're at it, it also cut down on some rattles and vibration, which I hate. All right, so with that explanation, let's go ahead and jump into it. Let's take a look at what it takes to get your door card off. All right, so here we are looking at the driver's side door card, and what I'm going to do is, obviously some of this work is going to be a duplication, so I'm not going to show the passenger side because it's going to be almost exactly the same. But when we talk about your door card, this is what we're talking about, this part on the inside that has your handle grip and all your switches. And you really want to be careful when you do this, because what you don't want to do is bang up any of this because you're going to see it and it's going to look bad. So you always want to make sure to get a good plastic trim toolkit. It's very handy. Don't pry on any of these things with metal tools as you'll tear it up. Now, every car is going to be different, so you could easily use this DIY for almost any car, but obviously taking the door card off this particular car is going to be specific to this car. But you could use these instructions for just about any car in general that you're looking to do. Okay? And if you are going to upgrade your speakers or amp, this is just a no-brainer to me. As you take all this apart to replace your speakers, then I would be doing this at the same time. So I would be getting the speaker kit at the same time as I get other things. So now for this M2, we need to get the door pull off first. I'm going to use a plastic trim tool, and there's a little notch right here at the bottom. I'm going to get up and underneath it. And you can hear as it starts to pull away, because there's a whole series of clips that hold this in place. So I'm just going to slowly work at this and pop it off. So as you can see, there's a hook on the bottom, there's a hook on the top, and these little metal clips that help hold it into place. Now we can get to the screws that actually go through and punch into the door frame itself. Okay, this should be T30. So as I look in here, yep. Let me double check to make sure that we're looking at a T30. So correction, sorry, that's a T20. So it's a T20 Torx. So go ahead and take both of these bolts out. There's a bolt here and there's a bolt right here in the middle. And then we're going to walk our way around and start popping all of the clips that help hold this in place. All right, so once you have these two screws out, there's a couple of additional things you're going to need to do to get your door card off. Now you've got 3 more screws you need to take out. There are 2 here in the bottom that are a little bit hard to show. They're kind of driven up at a 45-degree angle almost. You can feel them if you run your hand underneath, and you can feel the scallop right there where the screw is. There's 2 of them, and they're that same T20 long screws. Okay, so you're going to need to take those out. In addition, you're going to need to pull the surround around your door pull itself. I find it a little bit easier if I pull my door pull handle out a little bit, and I take a very slim plastic trim tool and fit it down in between the plastic. And the plastic itself will then easily pop out, and you fit it out around the door pull itself. And that will allow you to see the remaining T30 that you've got right here, okay? So you want to take all of those out. Now that all of those are out, you're going to want to start popping your door clips. Now, if you've not done this before, it can be a little alarming. The sounds are, there's a big pop because there are these plastic push rivets that go back into the door frame to hold the door card into place. Okay, you want to take your plastic trim tool, fit it in between the door card itself, and just gently work its way up. Now, I've popped several of these already, so I'm not going to be able to give you a good pop on these right at the moment, but I always start at a lower corner, kind of work my way up, work the tool up, work my fingers in, and just gently separate it. I always want to be careful, never use a metal tool because you don't want to score up or damage your door card, okay? So once you get all that off, it's only going to be held by this narrow strip across the top. Now, it's a little bit hard to show, and I'm going to do it, but I need about 6 hands to be able to film it and to do it and show you at the same time, because when your door card is almost off. Now, when you've got your door card here, what you've got is you've got all your cables that plug into it. You've got your Bowden cable, which is what your door pull attaches to, all attached to the back of your door card. So when you pull this off and you pull it off this top ridge, you're going to hold it in one hand and reach down in and start pulling all those cables off. The Bowden cable is this big white clip that slides into the door pull. You pull it up and gently out, and it will come and hang free. You reach down and you pull all the rest of the cables out, including any speaker cables, your light cable down here at the bottom, your window switches, and all the rest. Lift it up and away and gently over your locking post, and you should be good to go. Okay, so I'm going to move the camera so when I pull the door card off, you can kind of see down it a little bit. It sounds a lot harder than it really is, but I just wanted to walk you through it. All right, so the door card is completely popped free of all these clips that go straight in at the top. So I'm just kind of holding it in place with one hand. So you want to very gently start to pull it away. And you don't have a lot of room, so you fit it up and over the door pin right here for your lock. Then you're going to reach in. You should see this white cable right here that clips in. This is the Bowden cable. You pull it up and out and away from the clip. You can just let that drop. And then just reach in and start looking for the rest. I've got a little clip here at the top that's the light for the door pull. I've got the window switch down here, so all I've got to do is reach in. Now the window switch, and I'll show it to you in just a second, is one of these little horseshoe ones where you have to depress the lever on top and rock the little collar back for it to come out. So we'll get that, and it's actually on a little pin in the door right there, so it's free as you can see. Then the last thing down here, I've got a little pin that comes down for the light at the bottom. So you pull it out of the attaching pin here in the frame, come down to the light, and then work that out. Okay, so the door card is off. Make sure to take this and put it someplace safe where it's not going to get damaged. Be very careful. There's all these little clips that I'll show you some more of in a second. You want to make sure that they're in still good shape and they don't get beat up, because that's the secret to your door not rattling. Okay? Okay, so now that your door card is off, you can see actually your mid-range speaker here. It's going to have 3 T20s. I've taken 2 of the 3 out already just to show when we take this out. So I have the Alpha 1 speakers, which has a row of foam to help to have it seal up against your inner door card, and we're going to supplement this foam. Now, if you've got the OEM, because here's my original OEM tweeter, it also has some foam around the outside that tries to partially seal up against the door card itself that sits really close. The screen sits really close, but it doesn't make a perfect seal. And what we're going to be doing is we're really going to be adding this foam around the outside so it will get a perfect seal no matter what speakers you have in. Now, the other thing we're going to do, and you're going to want to take out your mid-range. So let me take out this last one. I've also unplugged it as well, just to make it a little bit easier. So once you take your mid-range out, we're going to add that back foam back here against the skin of the door itself, back on this side. Now, if you have your window down, make sure to put your window back up, and if your window's down when you unplugged it, well, you're gonna have to plug your window switches back in. Now, really quickly, your window switch, as I talked about, it had this collar on it. So when it's locked into place, this collar sits in an upright position like this. So when you reach in, you're pressing down on a little tab and rocking this collar down for the switch to come out. When you put the switch back in, you push it into the plug and then rock this collar back up to lock it into place. Okay, now that we can see that more clearly. But you want to take your mid-range out, and you're going to take one of those squares that come in the kit, You know, carefully peel the backing off, fit it back in here, and fit it back directly behind the speaker against the skin of the door itself. And that's going to help kill that back wave. Now, the other thing I just want to point out, it should be fine, but make sure that when you test a little bit further, it's not interfering with the window at all. Run your window up and down a couple of times to make sure you don't have any rub. You shouldn't, because the window track you can see a little bit of right here is way forward. I mean, your window is down. I mean, the glass is just right here. So you should be fine because you're inches back past the glass. But go ahead and take one of those squares, peel it off, and secure it against the skin of the door directly behind the speaker. And if I can stay out of my own shadows here, there you go. You can see in through the hole in the door frame, you can see that acoustic foam panel back against the door skin from the inside, and that'll help cut down on that back wave from the speaker, especially when your window's up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get your mid-range reinstalled, plug it back in, screw in those 3 T20s, and then we're gonna place the speaker ring around the outside. All right, so again, you can use these instructions for really any car, because when you start putting the speaker rings on, it's car agnostic, right? How you tear into your door is car specific. Now, like I showed on the OEM speaker with a little bit of that foam ridge and these excellent aftermarket speakers that have a little bit of foam, I want to supplement these. So what I'm going to do is I go around it. Now, if your speaker does not have acoustic foam or anything like that around the outside, I would go right up against the body of the speaker itself. But in this case, I'm going to push back just behind this existing foam that's on my speaker here. So don't peel any of the sticker off. Just measure. Take the ring, measure it around, make sure that you have it measured up really nice and tight where you want it to be, and then you can easily take a pair of scissors and just cut it off right there. And then what you're going to do is just slowly start to peel the adhesive off, get it set in just perfectly all the way around nice and tight. Make sure, so for example, in this case, you can see this is the hole right here for the grip, for the screw that goes in through the door pull. So you want to make sure you're on the inside of that and not fouling that in any way. So depending on your car, make sure that you're not hitting anything that should, or covering anything that should be covered, but get it in as tight as possible to the speaker, just right on top of it to make sure that, so the speaker's got an excellent seal up against your door card. All right, let me hand the camera here a little bit. As you can see, I've got it in place. Try to stay out of the light. Fits all the way around really nicely. I'm not fouling any of my cables. I'm not getting in the way. This is where the screw for the door pull goes, and it's back from that. And as you can see, and this foam is so soft that it's going to fit perfectly. So it's soft but resilient. It's very, very soft, but as you can see, it springs back really easily. So when you put your door card back on, it's going to press against this foam and will help seal all the way around the speaker. And in this case, I went on the outside of the existing acoustic foam. You want it because of the speakers I have in. If you have, otherwise, again, be as close and as tight to the speaker as you can be. So it really makes a cone. So all the sound comes out front through the speaker, and none of it goes out sideways. Okay, so this is what you do for your door. Now, we're not going to do the tweeter in my case up here, because not only is it designed a little bit different, but it's backed by a big, huge foam block that sits back behind it. So this doesn't have the same back wave sort of situation that the mid does here in the door, like most cars. Okay, so what we need to do is put the door card back on and repeat this on the other door. Okay, one real quick thing before we put this on, I want to point out these little nylon posts. These are what are popping when you take it out of the door. So make sure that they're all in good condition. None of them are bent or broken. They mash really easily. And so replace them. The part number for these will be listed in the description. And these are also the ones that have these little rubber gaskets on them too to help make them even more quiet. So all good things. Okay, so just reverse the process. Hold up the door card. And it's a matter of kind of holding it with one hand. Don't forget your locking pin right here. Take your Bowden cable here. It'll curl around. Now, what you're going to want to do is hold the lever flat on the opposite side, so hold it flat. Then your Bowden cable will slide in and down, just like that. And you should have heard it pop, and you can see, you can test your handle right now to make sure that it works. Okay? Then all the rest, so go ahead and just plug all the rest of your cables in. So go ahead and get your window switches here. Take that. Now, don't forget they're on these little nylon posts that go back into the holes on the card itself. So once you have all those done, what you'll do is you'll feed it over the pin, feed it over your locking pin, and then gently push into this top row, and it'll hold itself in place. And then we'll talk about it from there, because we don't want to just start smashing on it and break all those nylon pins. We want to do it carefully, okay? So go ahead and get all your cables plugged in and this top edge hung and over your locking pin, and then we'll finish out on the rest. So once your door card is hung on this top edge, because that's all it is right now, it's just hung on this top edge. So I line it up, I put the door lock pin through, kind of line it up, I line it up against the tweeter, and then just gently pop it onto those clips with my hand. Because what I want to do before I get all of the rest all the way around is I want to make sure they're lined up. So what I will usually do is I will look along these edges and look down through all of the edges. I'll even lay out my back underneath and look up underneath to make sure all those nylon pins are lined up. And then all you have to do is just smack it with your hand. Just gently smack those pins back into place and it'll be all set. Okay, so once that's done, you can put all of your screws back in. You've got your screw here in the pull well. You've got the 2 screws down the handle and the 2 screws across the bottom. Once that's done, we'll put the handle trim back on and the door pull trim back on, and you'll be done on this side. But I'll show you that in just a second. So go ahead and walk your way around. Make sure you're not mashing any of those pins. I hate rattles. They drive me insane. And part of using Soundskins is to cut down on road noise and even rattles depending on your car. So don't create one by having a bad pin or a mash pin. Okay, so make sure that all of those are in place, and then go ahead and gently press your door card back into place. All right, so the last couple of things to do is put on your door handle trim and the door pull surround. So this is easy. It just all fits into place just with pressure clips. So again, you just want to pull the handle out, feed it down the handle, feed it back into place, and it will just snap right into place just like that. So no screws, no anything like that. Now your door pull, you're going to see that this bottom edge right here has a hook that it goes into. So what you're really going to want to do is hook it underneath and then press it into place, because everything else are these either metal press clips or plastic press clips here at the top. So make sure that this hook gets set into the little compartment. You can see there's a little pocket that it goes into right there. And so make sure that that hook gets in there, because if you do it from the opposite direction, you try to put it in the other way, then it's going to bow out a little bit because the hook is not set. Okay, so go ahead and get that set back into place and your door is all done. All right, for this car, we're pretty much done with the speaker kit because of the way the other speakers are laid out. So your car may be a little bit different. If you're replicating on this car, of course you would do the other door if you haven't done it yet. But the speaker underneath in the center channel, and also those on the back, on that back shelf, just won't work. They have too much structure underneath the speakers to be able to put that back wave foam piece in. But then also the speaker rings themselves, there just isn't space around the speakers themselves for it to sit. I mean, they would compress enough under the covers, but there's not room for them to sit without them sitting on top of the speakers, which would interfere on how they work. Now, I do find it ironic in the ones in the back that there actually is a big foam box underneath. So BMW realizes dealing with back wave, they're trying to deal with any potential rattles that can come out of that. So it already has it, which is nice. So in this car, if you do the doors, you're pretty much done. And this is such a great kit for that and such a great value, especially if you're doing an upgrade to your system, you're already in your doors, or you just want a little bit better quality. This is a great way to do it. So thank you so much to Soundskins, really appreciate it. What a great kit. I highly recommend this for your car. And in this kind of stage 1 approach of what you want to do to improve the sound in your car with OEM or upgraded speakers. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please make sure to click subscribe and the little alarm bell. It makes a huge difference to my channel. And I'll see you on my next project.